Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lora Rolling and this is part 10 of the Merry Christmas ornament tutorial. This is the Merry Christmas ornament that we are making. It is so cute. I just love it so much. And today we're going to be making the unit called 2 R's. If you haven't seen parts 1 through 9 yet, that's okay. You can do these out of order. I'll have those videos listed down below in the description. That way, once you finish this one, you can go back and watch those. We just have a few materials to get ready, so let's get them listed and then we can get started. Let's go. So the beads that we're going to be using in today's video are all Miyuki Delicas. I have silver lined gold, opaque black, silver lined green, and silver lined light blue. Just to keep it simple, I'm going to call this gold, black, green, and blue. We're also going to need some beading thread and a beading needle. And I like to use the Eslon Fire in the color Crystal. This is 4-pound thread. You could also use a 6-pound thread if that's what you like. And then I use a size 10 beading needle. You could also use a size 11 or a size 12. For implements, I like to use my long nose pliers to hold onto my thread at the end of the video. And then I cut my thread with scissors. And then to end the tail today, I'm going to show you how I use the fire method. We just need about 3 feet of thread for this video, so let's thread our needle and then we can get started. So I've threaded my needle and now I'm ready to pick up my first 3 beads. Let's pick up 3 black beads. With these 3 beads, I'm going to take them and pull them down to the bottom of my thread. And I'm going to leave about a 6-inch tail. Now let's make a square knot, crossing over on top, and then pull the tail through. And then do that again, cross over on top, and pull the tail through. So now you should have 2 loops that looks like a snowman. Put 2 fingers in the bottom loop, the one that has the beads in it, and then pull on the tail and the long thread until that top loop turns into a knot. Now we have our little tail right here. I'm not going to touch it to the flame, but I am going to get it super close, just so it melts the tip. And it turns it into this little teensy knot or bead. Now I'm going to put my 2 fingers in the bottom loop again and pulling on the long thread while I'm twisting the loop. I'm going to shimmy that tail down until the knot touches the long thread. Now I'm going to take my thumbnail and pull that knot down to the beads until the beads turn into a little triangle, just like that. Now, if you notice, that knot is like right in the center of those 2 beads. So I'm going to pull the thread until the knot looks like it's coming out of one of the beads. It also looks like the thread is coming out of that bead. So now let's pick up our next 2 beads, which are 2 black beads. So it looks like our thread is coming out of this bead, so let's sew through the next bead, the one that's furthest away from the thread. And then I'm going to try to get my beads to sit right on top of their buddies. Now let's pick up 2 more black beads And our thread is coming out of this bead, so let's sew through the next bead. Making sure that those beads sit right on top of their buddies. Now let's pick up 2 gold beads. And we're coming out of this bead, let's sew through the next, and let's also sew through the buddy bead that's right below it. Sewing through 2 beads means we are stepping up, putting our thread in position to start the next row. So that means that we've completed 2 rows already. Let's start row number 3 by picking up 2 black beads and sew through the next. Then let's pick up 1 black bead, and we're coming out of this second bead right here. You'll notice the next bead is set downward a little bit. We're going to skip the downward bead and we're going to sew through the one that's poking up. I'm going to refer to that as the up bead. We always want to sew through the up beads. Alrighty, let's pick up 2 black beads and sew through the next. Now let's pick up 1 black bead. We're going to once again skip the down bead and sew through the up bead. Now let's pick up 1 black and 1 gold and sew through the next. And our last bead in this row is 1 gold. Skipping the down bead, let's sew through the up bead and its buddy, which is the last 2 beads in this row, which means we've completed this row, and now we get to start row number 4. Let's start with 2 black beads and sew through the next. Then 1 black and sew through the up. One black and sew through the up. I like to turn my work as I go. It just makes it easier to sew that way. You might want to do that too. Let's pick up 2 black beads and sew through the next. Whatever makes it easier for you, right? Now let's pick up 1 black bead and sew through the up. And 1 black bead and sew through the up. Two black beads and sew through the next. One gold bead and sew through the up. And 1 gold bead. This is the last bead in our row, so let's sew through the up bead and its buddy, sewing through those last 2 beads. And now we get to start row number 5. Let's start with 2 black beads then 1 black, one black, one black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 gold, and 1 gold. Sewing through the last 2 beads, and now we get to start row number 6. Let's start with 2 black beads, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 gold. Sewing through the last 2 beads, and now we get to start row number 7. Let's start with 2 black beads, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 gold, 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, and 1 gold. sewing through the last 2 beads. And now we get to start row number 8. Let's start with 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, and 1 black. Sewing through the last 2 beads. And now we get to start row number 9. Let's start with 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 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 1 black and 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, and 1 black. Sewing through the last 2 beads. And now we get to start row number 10. Let's start with 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 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 and 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 black, and 1 black. Sewing through the last 2 beads. And now we get to start row 11. Let's start with 2 black beads, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 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 1 black and 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, and 1 black. Sewing through the last 2 beads. And now we get to start row number 12. Let's start with 2 black beads. One black, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 2 black beads, 1 black, 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 1 black and 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 black, 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 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, and one black. Sewing through the last two beads, and that completes our first 12 rows of our unit. And if this is the first unit that you've done with me, I add connection rows to the sides of each of the unit, and each of the units are different. So in this particular unit, we are not going to add connection beads down this side, but we are going to add them on the bottom, and we are going to add them up this side. So we're also going to cap our corners, and by doing that, we just add one bead. So let's pick up one black and go ahead and cap that corner, which turns it into a point. And now what I like to do, because we're not going to add connection beads on this side, I like to flip it over, and then I like to sew up each one of the beads that are along this quadrant line until we get to this corner bead right here. So just one at a time without adding any more beads. We're just sewing up the beads, hiding our thread. We shouldn't be able to see our thread at all through these beads. And this is when I ask the question of the day, or the emoji of the day. So it's funny because each time I do one of these 2R units, I always think, you know, like a pirate, arr. Right? So our emoji of the day is anything pirate themed. Like, I was thinking either a pirate itself. I think if you type in pirate, a little pirate emoji might pop up. If not, then maybe a treasure chest or a little sack of gold, because pirates are always trying to find their booty, right? So yeah, press pause and add your favorite pirate emoji. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And now we are just about at the top, coming through this corner bead now. So what we're going to do is we're going to cap this corner by adding one black bead, and it turns this corner into a little point, just like the first one. And now we're going to add beads up this side. So we're going to start with one black bead, one blue. I know you were wondering when that was going to come, right? One black, one black, one black, one black, one black, one green, one green, one black, and one black. Now we are up at our third corner, so let's cap it with one black bead. And now we get to add our connection beads up this side. So let's start with one gold, one black, one gold, one gold, one black, 1 black, 1 gold, 1 black, 1 black, 1 black, and 1 black. Now let's just sew through our corner bead, and then we're going to sew up 7 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we are coming out of the top of this bead right here. I'm going to do what I call a zigzag. We're going to sew down in the opposite direction, the bead right next to the one we're coming out of. And then we're going to do that again, sewing in the opposite direction. We're going to sew up the bead right next to that one. That zigzag helps keep these last beads that we just added in place. So let's sew up 2 rows, 1 and 2. And now we're going to do another one of those zigzags. We're coming out of the top of this bead. Let's sew down the bead right next to it, and then sew up the bead next to that one. And now let's sew up 2 rows, the bead right above that one, and then the bead right above that one. And I feel that our beads right here are extra secure, so now we can cut our thread. So let's pick up our thread with our long nose pliers, and then get our scissors as close to the bead as possible without cutting the bead, and cut the thread right off. And now we have a complete 2Rs, R unit. Oh my gosh, I'm so PG. And we only need one of these units for this project, so I will see you in a second. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for being here with me today and beading along with me. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell button so you're notified when the next video comes out. I can't wait to see you there. Thanks for watching.